Hi again. This is going to be a good one. I did want to insert this one little quick story about when Bob was working with the stained glass lady in La Jolla. There was a lady there, esthetician, who he made friends with, and she offered to give me a free facial. So I went there one day, got in the chair, it's kind of like a dentist chair, and she was giving me a facial. She claimed to be kind of like a Christian Sharma or something. Shaman, like to have really good, spiritual powers or something. And so I'm getting the facial, and she's like praying over me, and all of a sudden I got this electric shock from the chair, like made me jump and everything. And she was talking about the power of the Holy Spirit and all this stuff, and that happened. It was like I think I don't know, it almost seemed like there should have been a buzzing noise or something, but it definitely was electric shock. And she was trying to act like it was from God and all this is a bunch of crap. Anyway, that was just one of the ways that the deceiver can try to get you off track when you're on the right track. Be careful. So, one night we were living in that nice house in San Diego. My mom came to visit. I don't remember much about that visit. She was very angry with me, really, for moving and taking the baby away, her grandchild, and she wasn't happy. And I didn't like that she was such a chain smoker, and I didn't want her smoking around my baby. And so we were always there was always that tension there between us when she would come to visit. And then Bob, I told you we were getting in really like adopted by this Broadway San Diego church, Seventh-day Adventist. They just took us under their arms and loved us and friended us. We became friends with another young couple that was just about our age, and I'm going to call him Carl, and I will call her Diane. And they had a little boy that was close to Lauren's age, and we just, clicked and became friends, like instantly, good friends right away. We hung out with them a lot. And they were coming to the same Revelation seminar with us. They had a background in the Church of Nazarene, I remember. Very sweet, great people, fun and everything. I loved them. So, our church bought this ranch that was 40 miles inland, southeast of San Diego. It was still in San Diego County, what they call the backcountry, in the mountains, in the foothills, or no, really mountains. It was beyond the foot. I think they call the mesa the foothills. It was beyond that, beyond Hamul, Dulzura. So they bought this ranch. It was I think 20 acres or something, and it was about 8 bedrooms, and they were gonna make it into a rehab retreat. And they asked Bob, because Bob had that experience in painters union, Bob got the job to paint the whole thing. So that was good. It was going to help us income that we needed a lot, right? So he starts going out there. Now, this is 40 miles from San Diego. He's driving back and forth every day and not happy about that, but he was happy about the job. And so he found a place for us to live out there close to where he was working. He took me out there to look at it, and I was horrified. I did not want to move out there. It was horrible. It was, way too far out. There was no stores or anything, gas stations, nothing around at all. Very remote. And it was a single wide trailer, 10 by 40 foot, what he had made arrangements for us to rent for $200 a month. We were paying, I think, $225 or something in San Diego for a very nice apartment. But he wanted to move out there, and I argued with him. I didn't like it. There was nothing nice about it at all. But he was insistent. He thought God was leading him, and I couldn't argue with that. So I agreed reluctantly. And I'll tell you something. I was very disappointed with California in general because I had heard like it was this beautiful paradise and all. And yes, San Diego is a nice city. It's a nice city to visit. It's a nice place to live, maybe, if you have plenty of money. Traffic is bad, and I wouldn't really recommend people to move there and there's not many jobs either. But it's a great place to visit for sure. Anyway, I did not see a lot of beauty outside of the city of San Diego. It was all brown and dried up. The hills, the mountains that were all over the place were just brown and dried up. They were just covered with weeds. And I was used to New Jersey, is where I lived. It was very pretty with trees and grass, even though, there wasn't a lot of wide open space. There was plenty of trees and green grass. And I always thought that as nature's beauty, not brown mountains with rocks, big boulders sitting on them. But that's what was there. And the people that were there thought it was beautiful, but I had a different taste. So we decided we were going to take this place, right? Well, I made arrangements I just decided I was going to go out there one day, drop Bob off Bob dropped me off. Bob would take the car to his job. It was like 8 miles away, not even, maybe a couple miles down the road, and dropped me and the baby and the dog off at this trailer so that I could clean it up before he moved in, right? Nobody had been living there for a little while. I don't know how long, at least months for sure. But there was mouse droppings all over and, just dusty. But I brought all my cleaning supplies, and it was summertime. Very hot. I mean, in San Diego, in the summer, because it's near the ocean, high 80s. Well, inland 40 miles, it was in the hundreds. Always in the hundreds. In the summer, it was always between 102 and 104 was the normal temperatures. There was days that it went higher than 104, but that was unusual. One day I remember it being at 120 degrees. And so dry, it doesn't rain. It only rains really December, January, February. Those are the rainy months. And outside of that, it really doesn't rain. If it ever does, it's like a freak thing, and everybody runs outside and is so excited, that it's raining. So anyway, we went that one day, right? Bob dropped us off, and I did my cleaning in the morning, and I was done, and it was hot, and I had brought a lunch and all, and I brought my radio and had a camera. My mom had given Bob a really nice 35 millimeter expensive camera because she wanted us to take lots of pictures of the baby and all, So that we had the camera with us and the diaper bag and, a little bit of food for the day. Well, after I cleaned, I was very hot. There was no air conditioning in there, and had the radio on. Decided to take a nap. So the baby and I and the dog, we all laid down for a nap. I had the radio on, and I'm hearing him talking about wildfires. Now, it was very windy, and you've heard, I say because it's on the news every year. The Santana winds, the devil winds, come up from the desert in the Southern California, and they blow like crazy. I mean, gale winds blowing constant for several days at a time, and a lot of wildfires happen because everything's so dry and catches fire in so easily. So we're laying there resting. Now, I'll describe the trailer to you a little bit, okay? You walk in, and there's a door and little living room area, just a spot for the dining table, little kitchen table and chairs, and then the kitchen was there, and then the bedroom where there was built-in closet and drawers on the wall, no room for any furniture, just room enough for a full-size mattress, and that's what we were going to put down. And then there was a little hallway with the bathroom, a full bath, and then beyond that was a little extra room for kids. And there was built in 2 single beds, not built in, but they were there, 2 single beds, and a couple built-in drawers and a closet for the kids, right? Nursery or 1 baby, anyway. So that was it. So laid down, and there was another door there across from the bathroom. So there's 2 doors. Well, lay down with Lauren and the dog, and radio on, talking about the wildfires, and all of a sudden, there was also curtains on the windows, the old-fashioned kind of sheer nylon curtains, right? That was on the windows, and that was all that was on the windows, no blinds or shades or anything. Well, all the windows were open, of course, because it was like over 100 degrees, and that's all we had. I might have had a fan, I don't remember. There was a swamp cooler, a thing called a swamp cooler people used. It sat on the roof, and you hooked up the garden hose to it, and it blew air through there into the house, moist air. So it was a fan blowing moist air into the house, which was so dry, so it helped cool somewhat. It was called a swamp cooler, but it was not an air conditioner. There was no coolant in there or anything. It was just water cooling the air. So we did have that. I don't think we had it hooked up yet. We didn't even know what it was yet, So in the middle of the afternoon, and suddenly I smelled smoke, and I'm hearing all this about fires on the radio, and I'm thinking, am I imagining, or do I smell smoke, Got up and looked out the window, and sure enough, the weeds right across the little dirt road there, the weeds were on fire. Now, let me tell you, this place that we were renting, okay, it was on a 40-acre ranch, and it was down a dirt road, very dusty dirt road, right, because it's so dry. And there was 2 other single-wide trailers on the property and a great big old barn also. There was no phone yet. We didn't have a phone yet. We did have electricity, but no phone yet. And the water was running. So I look out the window, and the weeds had not been cut down, right? So the weeds were right up to the trailer. I'm talking like weeds 3 feet high, right up to the trailer, on 2 sides. And then there was, on one side was like a brick patio, and there was pepper trees shading that side, which were very nice. Pepper trees, if you're not familiar, they droop down like weeping willows, kind of very, very nice, pretty shade trees. and there was about 4 of them in a row on where our patio was, okay? And then we had a little shed. The shed was, you could have a washer dryer in there, but there was a washer, but it didn't work. And there was just some boxes stored in there, and then there was a propane tank in the yard. That's would be the heat would be propane. And I don't know, I think the stove was, I don't remember what the stove was, but anyway, there was a propane tank if we wanted gas. So I saw the flames and I just freaked out, of course. I grabbed the baby, and there was the lady that was in the other trailer a distance away. I'm bad at feet. I don't know how many feet it was, but it was a distance away because we were on 40 acres, right? Well, I saw this other neighbor lady that I had not met yet. She was standing out in front of her trailer looking, and I just took my baby and ran, and of course the dog, Layla, ran with me. And I just ran up to that lady and put my baby in her arms, and I just said, "Hold my baby, please hold my baby." And then I ran back. Big, big, big mistake. Don't ever do that. Don't run back to a fire. I ran back, and Layla, my dog, ran back with me. I ran back, ran inside. I grabbed the brand new $500 camera. I grabbed my purse, my diaper bag, and that's all. Took me a few seconds, right? Went to go back outside, and the smoke was so thick, it was pitch black. This was in the middle of the afternoon. Pitch black. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face, like the middle of the night with no stars or anything, and smoke. I started coughing immediately, choking, and there was a fence around our trailer, chicken wire fence, if you know what that is, right? Just a wire fence. And so there was a gate to get out, and I couldn't see a thing, so I couldn't see where the gate was, and I just panicked, and I heard a voice, and the voice said, "This way, come over here, come this way." So I followed the voice, and it was over to the other corner of the yard, away from the gate entrance, to the corner, but it cleared me out of the smoke to go the opposite way. And I went that way, and Layla was at my side, right? And I was carrying this stuff. I had Dr. Scholl's sandals on, slip-on sandals, right? So it was this kid, 17-year-old kid, that was his mom, who I gave the baby to. He lived in that other trailer. I hadn't met him yet or anything, but he was the one that was yelling at me, trying to help me get out, right? So he helped me get out of the chicken wire fence. And then we're trying to get the dog, and Layla was freaking out. She was shaking, she was scared, she was freaking out. She's a German Shepherd, right? And she's full grown now. And she was so scared, and we tried to pull the fence up, trying to coax her to come under, and she wouldn't go. And then we're trying to get her to jump, and she wouldn't jump. And then the smoke and fire was coming closer and closer. The propane tank was there. I was scared to death. I just screamed to God, and I left her. I thought my dog was going to die in the fire, but I couldn't wait any longer because it was right there. So I just started running, and I was screaming out loud to God, "Dear God, help me, help me, help me, save Layla, save me, save us all." And I'm running across the field through these weeds that are like up to my knees, and I lost my sandals. I'm running barefoot. My hair was way down my butt, And I was running as fast as I could, and I was just thinking, because I was literally running from the flames. The wind was blowing right towards me, and all I could think of was my hair is going to catch on fire any second. And I was just screaming out loud to God to help me, save me, and running along thinking Layla's burning up right now. And all of a sudden, on both sides of me, in my peripheral vision, I saw my two angels with me. They were right there. I saw them. I didn't look like this. I was running with all my might, and my peripheral vision, when I was praying, I saw these two bright lights gliding right along with me, like this, right along with me. And I knew what they were. I knew they were my angels. And all of a sudden at the same moment, I saw Layla running right next to me. And I knew I was going to be okay. At that moment, I was not afraid anymore. I knew everything was going to be okay. And you want to know why I believe? This is why I believe. So I grabbed my baby from the lady, and here comes, running from the other third trailer, there's another lady, young lady, with two little kids, baby in arms and a little toddler. She's holding, and she's running also. And she joined me, and I hadn't met her yet or anything. But I'll call her Trisha, okay? So that's how I met Trisha. And we ran up to the road. The other lady who was holding my baby, whose son helped me, she said that they were staying. Okay, well, me and Trisha and the three babies, we ran up to the dirt road, and along comes a car, and they stopped and gave us a ride to the cafe, which was down the road a piece. And I called Bob, and he, remember, he was working down the road. So he came, and I told Bob, I just said, trailer's gone, it's burned down. There was no doubt in my mind that it was gone. And he came, picked me up, and in the meantime, someone had called. None of us, my two neighbors in those other two trailers, did not have a phone. So none of us had a phone, but somebody called the fire department. So when we were at the cafe, we saw the fire trucks coming, and then a little while later, Bob comes to pick us up, and he wanted to go see. And I said, there's nothing to see. It's gone. We were never meant to live there, and, it's gone. But he wanted to go see. And we went, and the fire truck was still there and hosing down around the house. And the fireman said, it's a miracle. The trailer was not damaged at all. The fire burned down all the weeds that we would have had to work to cut down. Fire burned them all down right up to the trailer, and those beautiful pepper trees were all burnt up. And they were hosing down cardboard boxes that had been stored in the shed there that were on fire. And they were just hosing down the hot ashes and all. And I had all of those windows open all the way with those nylon curtains, and not one curtain caught on fire. There was not even any smoke damage inside that house, inside that trailer. So I had taken it as a sign that, that was not our place to go. But Bob saw it as exactly the opposite. He said, look, our home is not damaged a bit, and God burned the weeds down for us, so we are staying. This is our new home. So we moved in, and that's my story for tonight. Thanks for watching. I hope it hits home for you, because it's true. God bless you. He's there for you too.